This video is going to be about how I made this garden table that is 3 meters long. This is the old table and it's not so good for this space because normally we are 2 families eating here, which means minimum of 8 people. So it's too small for that, and it's also the legs of the table are in conflict with the chairs, as you can see, and also we cannot even fit all the chairs to the table, so the table needs to be bigger and it also needs to be a bit higher. So that's what I'm going to show now how to do. This is the wood that I'm going to use for the table, and I had this since when I built a deck. So this is what's going to restrict me in my design, what I can use. This has been a deck floor, and this has been some little bit more rugged beams, so I'm going to use them. I only had 6 pieces of wood plank, I think that's the right word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's maybe a bit narrow because that will give me a width of 73 centimeters, and I think I need just a little bit more, so I need to find something that builds. I found that I have aluminum profiles like this that could actually be quite cool if I use it on the table. So I think I'm gonna use it to build on width and place it, I think, in the middle, and use one. That will give me something more edgy about the table and also some more width. Now I'm ready to begin to build the table, and I put all the planks out, and I have chosen the bad side, so to say, facing this upwards. So this means that that won't be visible when we turn the table around. And I'm gonna use wood and screws and glue, polyurethane glue, and I'm only going to put glue here. I'm not going to put glue in between here because I know that when this wood becomes a little bit more dry, we're going to get a small gap where water can just drain right through instead of being trapped on top of the table. So I'm going to use this and lots of clamps and clamp it. So I'm ready to begin. Left screw in place, and I have used screws with the correct length so that they don't protrude on the other side of the table and you get sharp things on top, of course. I've glued it also, and I have clamps now while the glue is setting, both to push in this direction, these ones to push here, and long clamps to push everything together like this. And as I said, probably we're going to see some kind of gap here in the future, but I'm okay with that. Now the table is finished and all the glue is hardened and all screws are in place. So this is what I came up with, and you can see the legs of the table with this reinforcement beam to make it steady enough, because it's quite long. It's 3 meters long. I made all the sharp edges rounded. I used both the saw and my power grinder to grind them real smooth while it's upside down, so it's quite easy. This is both functional and also it's gonna look a little bit better, I think. The fastening of the legs on a table of this length must be really strong. So I used 2 pieces of wood in this direction, and I glued them and screwed them to this piece of wood before I fastened that to the table itself. And if I had, I would have used not as wide plank as this, maybe a bit shorter. This is 120 millimeters, so I would have used maybe 95 millimeters would have been better, because this might conflict with somebody's knees. But it's really strong, so that's good. And I have cut all the edges smooth. That's not needed for strength. And then the 2 legs, and then a reinforcement beam. You're going to need that, so the legs are really steady. And one really important thing is that the height of the table becomes correct. So what I did is I looked at old tables and decided that this is going to be a height of 74.5 centimeters. So I measured from there to there, 74.5, and adjusted on each side, and then screw this in so this becomes locked. And now I've already done that, so that's can take them away. So these are finished. Same here. And now it's just to turn the table around. Now the table is in place and it's standing steady on the deck, and the bench back there is a bit longer than the table, so that's exactly like I planned it to be. It should be strong enough, but to know I need to test it, so let's test it. Strong enough. This is my tool shed with all the tools that I needed for the project and don't need. A grinder, a center grinder is going to be needed, and also a saw like this. I think it's called maybe figurine saw. That's good to have. Put them up there. Screwdriver, of course, and the power saw to cut, and a handsaw. Rusty but good, really good. The table is set for tonight, and it's gonna be 10 people. So all the 6 chairs now fits the table, and tonight it's gonna be 4 people on the bench. On the bench we can have even more people if we needed to. I would say at least 2 more. So probably 12 people is the maximum for this table. And one thing that I need to show is the table leg design, that it's good for this position when you're close to the table leg, because you don't want to hit that. So it's good that it's close to the center of the table, and also I don't hit. Maybe if I try I can hit here, but that's good enough. And for this position on the edge of the table, it's also working, and my knees don't hit the legs here, so I have plenty of space there so I can sit and enjoy.